All right, so we got a lot of Doctor Who cards. There's like 40 or there's more than 40 of them to take a look at. So enough dilly-dally, fiddle-faddling around. Let's take a look at some cards. Let's start out by looking at Clara. We're going to have a bunch of real-world looking stuff and futuristic stuff, right? So Clara Oswald is a 6 casting cost, colorless human advisor who's an impossible girl. If she's your commander, you choose a color before the game begins. She is that color. Oh, all right. If a triggered ability of a doctor you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. And she's a doctor companion. So you can have two commanders at the same time, right? So you can have this one along with your doctor, basically, and then choose another color that you want to be able to slap into your deck. So, I mean, 6 mana for a 2/6, and all it does is let your doctor's ability trigger a second time. You gotta really want that ability. I gotta say, this doesn't feel like super interesting or super exciting. Hold on, let me swap this over like this. I got multiple things on multiple screens here, and I need to optimize. There we go. I can see things a little bit better now. All right. So, Clara, we already saw you. Then we got a Traxy Warden. Look at this thing. It's like a crazy, gigantic, spiky sky eyeball. 2 white and 4 for a 6/6. Oh, it's literally an alien eye. There you go. It's got flying. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target tapped creature. And it's got suspend, so you can pay it for 2 mana in the first place and have it show up later on. All right. Clara's the only way to put. It's the only way to bring black in. There's no doctors that have black in the casting cost? I have no idea. I mean, we haven't seen all the cards yet, right? So how would we know? We can't know at this point. You almost fooled me. But we don't know yet. So can't say that for sure. All right. So, I mean, this card, it's funky with the artwork. I guess this is just somebody being abducted up into the space eyeball. All right. Caves of Androzani. The caves where we store Zambonis. 1 white and 3. What does it do? Put 2 stun counters on each of up to 2 target tap creatures. And then for each non-saga permanent, choose a counter on it. You can put an additional counter of that on that kind of permanent. So it's like a pseudo proliferate. And then 4, search your library for a doctor, reveal it, put it in your hand. 4 mana to wait 2 turns to tutor and stun the dudes? I don't know. Bo Falcon, you're immortal. Well, if you're immortal, why would we want to kill you if we can capture you and suck out your blood and study you? What about that, buddy? What about that? So, I mean, I don't know what's up with this artwork. I guess these 2 people end up staying in the cave for a while and then healing. Meh. Card's pretty underwhelming. Everybody lives. 1 white and 1 for an instant. All creatures get hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. Players gain hexproof till end of turn. Players can't lose the game this turn. Players can't lose life this turn. And players can't lose or win the game this turn. And the flavor text says, everybody lives, Rose. Just this once, everybody lives. This is one of the few cards that I did see a little bit about in terms of the flavor. And this is like one of the cynical incarnations of the Doctor. And this is a situation where you can actually have kind of a happy ending where nobody has to die. You know, he's seen so many worlds destroyed. So that's a cool concept. And this card is definitely funky, right? Like you can use this to protect yourself or keep somebody else in the game if you wanted to. If you're playing like a 4-player, or I guess a 3-player, whatever it is. You know, it's got multiple applications. Not too shabby. Then we got Joe Grant, 1 white and 2 for a 3/2 legendary human soldier daredevil, Evil Knievel. Each historic card in your hand has cycling. All right, well, she's on the cycle. That's fun. Whenever you cycle a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Joe Grant, Joe Mama, and got Doctor's Companion. See, this feels a lot better than the one that like just gives you an extra doctor trigger, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Meh. It's all right. Night of the Doctor. Oh, look at this artwork. That's pretty wild. What's going on here? 2 white and 4. 6 mana, destroy all creatures, and then return a legendary creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put your choice of a first strike, vigilance, or lifelink counter on it. Oh, that's cool, man. So I guess this is like this is when the Doctor like regenerates himself into like a new version or something, right? Because he becomes somebody different every time, right? So he's got like 13 different versions now. I assume that's what's going on here. The artwork's pretty wild. It's like, check it out. I got Indiana Jones's Chalice of the Void, and a little dude's coming up out of it, and I'm really angry. Oh, wait, no, I get it. This guy is angry because he didn't get the, like, skin that he wanted in the video game that he's playing, right? He's like, it randomized the rolls, and he's like, oh, no, I didn't get the waifu I wanted in Genshin Impact. All right. Then we got Perry Brown. Oh, she likes to waggle her finger in them shorty shorts. 1 white and 3 for a 2/3. First historic spell you cast each turn has Convoke. Oh, that's funky. So you can tap creatures to help cast it. I'm Perpigwilliam Brown, and I can shout just as loud as you can. All right. Well, I don't know anything about Doctor Who, so she's just a finger McYeller. All right. Tegan Jovanka, the Doctor likes to take young ladies around the multiverse with him, doesn't he? Oh, she's got mega levels of freedom because she's got Braveheart. 3 mana, 2/2, Braveheart. Freedom! Whenever you attack, target attacking historic creature gets +1/+1 and indestructible until end of turn. All right. She protects the Doctor from what? With spider webs that have been shot with bullets? What is this? What is this around her? Also, she needs to eat. She needs some food, right? Trial of a Time Lord. 2 white and 1. As the saga enter... Oh, wait, let's just get the regular lore text. 1, 2, and 3. Exile target non-token creature an opponent controls until Trial of a Time Lord leaves the battlefield. Number 4, starting with you, each player votes for innocent or guilty. If guilty gets more votes, the owner of each card exiled with this card puts that card at the bottom of their library. Bum, bum, bum. You have been judged to be a suck bag. Get to the bottom of the deck. Guilty of being a lame wad. You're guilty of having goofy afro hair. As a result, we imprison you for 10 years. The Doctor basically tricks girls into his TARDIS, then kidnaps them? Huh. Is that why he's called the Doctor Who? Because it's like, that's what the cops are. They're like, Doctor Who? We're trying to arrest this guy. It's a weird card, man. It's a slow-ass, selective kind of board wipe. Meh. War Games! Oh, check it out. They're going to a 3D movie, guys. They got their own homemade 3D movie glasses. So what? We got 2 white and 2. And this is... Each player creates 3/1/1 warrior creature tokens. They're goaded for as long as the war game remains on the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on each warrior creature for the next 2 and 3. And then 4, you can exile a non-token creature you control. When you do, exile all warriors. Oh, okay. So it's just a big old battle that ends with everybody getting wiped out. Well, why'd you go to the effort of making your little 3D glasses then, bro? 4 mana to give everybody a bunch of 1/1s. I don't like it. It's not doing it for me. All right, an Unearthly Child. Okay. 2 blue and 1. It just does the same thing 3 times. Reveal cards from the top of your library and 2 reveal a Doctor, a card with Doctor's Companion, or a vehicle. Put that card in your hand and the rest of the bottom on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's like, all right. He's just like, yo, I'm gonna look for hot ladies or like a Jeep to drive around in. Okay. Then we got Flesh Duplicate. Look at that neck, bro. 2 blue, 0/0, and enters the battlefield if you want to as a copy of any creature on the battlefield except it has vanishing 3. So you only get to keep it for like 3 turns. I mean, I guess if you want a lady with extendo capabilities, then sure, but as far as clone effects go, it's no dance of many. You try getting out of an argument with this lady, sure, her head will chase you around the corner still yelling, "No thanks, lady." Martha Jones. Why did you say that name? 1 blue and 2 for a 3/2 woman who walked the earth. When she enters the battlefield, investigate. That's it. 1 clue for walking the whole earth. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, she and 1 other target creature can't be blocked this turn. Whoop-de-doo. This thing sucks, man. This thing sucks. Martha, you suck. Nanogene Conversion. 1 blue and 3 sorcery. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature becomes a copy of that creature till end of turn except it isn't legendary. Oh, that's weird. Are you my mommy? What? Is this like some kid who's taking over everybody? They all have gas masks on. This is pretty wild. Pretty wild. This is a weird one. It's a sorcery, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you could do some fun shenanigans with it, for sure. Everybody put on a gas mask because it's in my jeans. Reverse the polarity. Oh, look at those lips. Look at his reversed lips. There's just something weird about him. 2 blue and 1 instant. Choose 1. Counter all other spells. Switch each creature's power and toughness till end of turn. Creatures can't be blocked this turn. Wow. This is pretty solid, man. You can use it as a counterspell to get rid of everything off the stack or just as a regular counterspell. You can swap everybody's power and toughness or make all your dudes unblockable. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. And the artwork looks pretty sweet with the little weep wave coming off of his sonic lollipop there. That's pretty cool. Amy Pond. Oh, who wants to go for a dip in the pond? Ha ha. 1 red and 2/2 partners with Rory. Whenever Amy Pond deals combat damage to a player, choose a suspended card you own and remove that many time counters from it. Ah, alright. Weird. She partners with Rory Williams, but she's the Doctor's companion. So you can start with her on the board with, or not, wait. You start with her as one of your commanders, and then when you cast her, you also get to partner up with Rory, so she brings Rory in on it. Okay. Alright. It's kind of interesting. She's got some crazy cube behind her that looks like it has the Azorius logo almost. You know, the middle part of it, not the triangle around it. Ecstatic Beauty. 1 red and 2 sorcery. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play those cards until end of turn. Put 4 time counters on each of those cards that has suspend, and it suspends for 4. So, like, this is this from the episode where they see, like, Gallifrey Falls No More, where they're looking at, like, paintings in a museum? Is that the same one? And then he also gets to meet, like, the Doctor meets Vincent Van Gogh or something like that. I don't know if I'm mishmashing episodes together, but I think with this, that's what this one has to do with, right? That artwork is funky. All right. Sibyllin Soothsayer. 1 red and 2, 3/2 human warlock with Temporal Foresight. When it enters the battlefield, reveal cards from the top of your library and to reveal a non-land card with mana value 3 or greater. Exile that card with 3 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gets suspend. Rest of the cards, bottom of the library in a random order. I mean, that's all right. That's all right for a come into play ability, right? That's not too shabby. Gerthulu, you liked the Van Gogh episode? Right on. Right on. Never seen it. Never seen it. Fred, oh, and the previous one, the gas mask was the alien. Okay, cool. Ace, Fearless Rebel. Good lord, Ace looks like a goof. 1 green and 3, 2/2 legendary human rebel. Nitro 9. Okay. Whenever Ace Fearless Rebel attacks, you can sack an artifact. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Ace and it fights up to 1 creature defending player controls. Ugh. That's not very good. And the artwork looks goofy. All right, War Doctor. Oh, look at this. 1 white, 1 red, and 2, 3, 5. Whenever one or more of their permanents phase out, and whenever one or more other cards, are put in exile from anywhere, put a time counter on him. Whenever he attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of time counters on him to any target. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile instead. Huh. So as he loses more people, he becomes more powerful and more dangerous. All right. All right. I can get down with that. That's pretty cool. Jamie McCrimmon. Oh, let's play Braveheart. No, let's play Highlander. 1 green and 2 for a 2/2 legendary human warrior with trample. Whenever you cast a historic spell, they get +X/+X on a turn where X is that spell's mana value. And this has Doctor's Companion. Meh. Meh. Susan Foreman. Oh, what's this cutie do? 1 green and 1 for a 1/1 Time Lord. If you would planeswalk, instead look at the top 2 cards of your planar deck. Put one on the bottom of your planar deck and the other on top, then planeswalk. Oh, cool. That's neat. Interacts with the actual plane cards. I like that. That's cool. That's pretty cool. All right, Curse of Fenric. 1 white, 1 green, and 2. And first ability is for each player, destroy up to 1 target creature that player controls. For each creature destroyed this way, create a 3/3 mutant. Whoever it was who lost the creature gets the mutant. Target non-token creature becomes a 6/6 legendary horror named Fenric and loses all abilities. Third, target mutant fights another target creature named Fenric. Ugh. Yikes. I don't like this, man. I don't like this card. Dinosaurs on a spaceship. All right. All right. This is Magic the Gathering. 1 white, 1 red, and 4, 7/7 Vigilance Trample. Wow, it's big. Other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1 and have Vigilance and Trample. Dino Lord. Suspends for 5 mana for 4 turns. Whenever time counters are removed from it, when it's exiled, make a 2/2 red and white dinosaur creature token of flying in haste. Oh, cool. You can suspend it, make a bunch of dinosaur tokens, and then when it shows up, it gives them boosts. All right. All right. I mean, dinosaurs on a spaceship. It says it all. Snakes on a plane, yo. The 8th Doctor. 1 blue, 1 white, and 4 for a 4/4. This one, when it enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Once during each of your turns, you can play a historic land or cast a historic permanent spell from your... Historic land? Huh. Or cast a historic permanent spell from your graveyard. If you do, it gains. If this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. All right. I mean, that seems pretty solid. Getting to be able to play spells out of your graveyard. 6 mana is kind of beefy casting cost wise, but overall. What up, Jugglum? How you doing? 11th Doctor. Oh, man, this artwork's pretty funky. Look at those spaceships in the background. So he's a blue, white, and 1 for a 3/2. He has I Am Talking. Whenever the 11th Doctor deals combat damage to a player, you can exile a card from your hand with a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. All right. And 2 mana, target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. That's not too shabby. This ain't too shabby overall as a card. I can get down with this one. The 5th Doctor. Oh, look at this casual guy with rhubarb stuck to his jacket. A blue, a white, and 2 for a 2/2. Peaceful Coexistence. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control that didn't attack or enter the battlefield this turn. Untap those creatures. Yo, this is solid. This is a solid ability, man. If you're not swinging with creatures, right? You might have tap abilities or whatever else. You're going to get to get multiple uses out of them. Plus, this is going to boost them. That's awesome. That's awesome. I like this a lot. All right, we got Heaven Sent. A red and a blue for a saga that says 1 and 2 investigate. 3, Heaven Sent deals 1 damage to each opponent. Then if an opponent has 0 or less life, draw 7 cards. Otherwise, exile Heaven Sent and you may cast it this turn. Oh, okay. So it just it keeps coming over and over and over. Right? might be all right. Cranking clue tokens and it just keeps recurring. I see potential for it, right? Then we got the 9th Doctor. A red, a blue, and 1 for a 2/4 with haste. It's got Into the TARDIS. Whenever the 9th Doctor becomes untapped during your untap step, you get an additional upkeep step after this step. So you get double upkeeps. You get double upkeeps. That's pretty funky, man. That's pretty funky. The parsley turns purple if that doctor is around gas that can kill him. Okay. All right. He keeps that plant with him to protect him. That's funky. The 2nd Doctor. All right. 1 blue, 1 white, and 2 for a 2/4. Players have no maximum hand size. How civil of you. At the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card. Each opponent who does can't attack your permanents you control during the next turn. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, he certainly looks like a goof in the artwork, but the card, the abilities are interesting. 7th Doctor. Well, there's a whole bunch of these guys. Obviously, there's 13 of them, right? A blue, a white, and 3. I don't think we have all 13 today, though. 3/6. Whenever he attacks, choose a card in your hand. Defending player guesses whether that card's mana value is greater than the number of artifacts you control. If they guess wrong, you can cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast a spell this way, investigate. All right, so you make a clue token every turn if you're not actually able to play the spells for free. I don't know. Casting cost is pretty high. 6th Doctor. Blue, a green, and 4 for a 3/3. Time Lord's Prerogative. Whenever you cast a historic spell, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. Triggers only once a turn. Wow. This is an ability. This is solid, man. All right, what do we got next? The 3rd Doctor. Oh, would you like a piece of chicken while we fence? Oh, wait. Is that a sandwich? Never mind. That's a sandwich. A blue, a green, and 2 for a 2/2. It's got Trample. It gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token you control. And when it enters the battlefield, create your choice of a clue token, a food token, or a treasure token. Yeah. You know what? In a deck based around the ability, not too shabby. Not too shabby. 12th Doctor. Oh, he likes to rock. A red, a blue, and 3/4/4. First spell you cast from anywhere other than your hand each turn is Demonstrate. Demonstrate. When you cast that spell, you can copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Weird. A copying effect, but your opponent gets it? Yeah. I don't know, man. Whenever you copy a spell, you put a +1/+1 on them. That's all right. That's all right. Meh. All right, Wedding Ring. Here's another one that, like, I remember reading this one earlier today and going, it's one of the symmetrical ones. 2 white and 2. It's an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. So since they have a copy of it, they will also get that. And you can be a goofbag and keep bouncing this back to your hand and casting it so you can keep giving people wedding rings. And then you can be like, we're all married. Everybody in this Commander game is married, so stop fighting. I don't like effects like this. I don't like effects like this at all. But that's just me. All right. Past in Flames. This is actually a reprint. But you can see the TARDIS getting all messed up in crazy flamings. It looks pretty cool, man. The Pandorica. Oh, hey, there's that box we saw earlier. All right, 1 white and 2 legendary artifact. You can choose not to untap it during your untap. 1 white and 1. Tap it. Untap another target non-land permanent. Then it phases out. It can't phase in for as long as the Pandorica remains tapped. When this becomes untapped or leaves the battlefield, that permanent phases in. Activate only as a sorcery. So, this is just straight up like Thanos' Coffin, but way better. Like the untap part might throw somebody off. They might be like, does it have to be tapped? And it's like, no. You pick any permanent. It doesn't require that it be tapped in the first place to activate this thing's ability. So, no. That's really solid, man. This is really solid. I guess it just seals somebody inside it. It's like a Pandora box variation that traps people inside of it. Something like that. That's cool. The Wedding of River Song. Oh, okay. 1 white and 2 sorcery. Draw 2 cards and you can exile a non-land card from your hand with a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. Then target opponent does the same. Cards exiled this way that don't have suspend gain suspend. And then it's also got time travel, which lets you muck about with those time counters. Huh. Meh. All of history all at once. 2 blue and 2 sorcery. It's got time travel and storm. Okay. You're just going to go on a suspended craziness. And so I guess everything's happening all at once. You got pterodactyls and hot air balloons. It's all time periods at the same time. Run, children! Run! That's funny. Exterminate. 1 black and 2 sorcery. You can replicate it by tapping an untapped Dalek. And it destroys target creature. Its controller loses 3 life. So you can actually get a 2 for 1 if you have a Dalek to tap. So you can blast 2 creatures. And you can see Buddy just literally getting obliterated here. That's pretty wild. Regeneration's restored. Oh, is this where he snorts all the other doctors straight up his nose? A blue and a white for an enchantment with vanishing 12. So it comes with 12 time counters on it. Each upkeep you take 1 off. Whenever 1 or more time counters are removed from it, scry 1, gain 1 life. Then if it has no time counters on it, exile it. When you do, take an extra turn after this one. 2 mana, but like 12 vanishing counters to get the extra turn. Scrying and gaining 1 life. This doesn't feel very exciting to me. This doesn't feel very exciting. It feels Here's Rory. We saw Amy Pond tell us about you earlier, buddy. A blue and a white for a 3/3. All right, that's already beefy. First strike and lifelink. Okay. When you cast a spell from anywhere other than exile it with 3... there it is. Exile it with 3 time counters on it. It gains suspend, then investigate. I wondered. I'm like, yo, you can only... Wait, 2 mana? Why do you get so much for 2 mana? It's because when you try and cast it from your hand, it gets exiled, so you can't cast it normally. Fair enough. Oh, he's playing with the robots. Rory, they can put their arms back on. You can't. Play safe. Ominous Cemetery. Taps for a colorless or 5 and tap, exile Ominous Cemetery. Target creature's owner shuffles it into the library. So this has to do with those weeping angel statues that come and send you hurtling through time, right? Pretty amazing flavor. Oh, wow, okay, hold on. We jammed, that's all of the spoilers. So I'm going to put it on an automatic sort of shift through, because I was focused on looking at all the cards, and that meant I only got to see some of your comments as we were going through here. James P says, Doctor Who fans will buy anything. I know, I'm a very guilty Whovian. Hey, enjoy yourself, bro. Enjoy yourself. Life is short. John, you got drunk and bought yourself Unfinity? Enjoy that magic, bro. Unveiled Wedding Ring is a reprint from Crimson Vow. Fair enough. I did not remember that. Juggins, anyone else see the resemblance of the Loki series and time travel with Doctor Who like Loki's a new doctor? That Loki show sucked, bro. I loved Loki as a character, right? It's like, yeah, he's a fun, clever trickster god, right? And then they did the show, and they were like, actually, he's not smart. He's weak, and people are just going to spend their time beating him up. And then, like, by the time you get to the 3rd or 4th episode, you're going to realize, wait, this isn't even about Loki. Like, he's in the background, blurred out, while this new Loki we don't care about. And they're like, see what we did? See what we did? Like, this is actually a different Loki. So now you like this Loki, and we're following them. And I'm like, oh, I got bad news for you. I don't like that Loki. It doesn't work that way. Like, if I have a friend, John, and I really like John, and then I show up to hang out with John, and you bring in some lady and you go, check it out, this is John. And I'm like, oh, hey, John, how you doing? And they're like, yeah, I'm doing all right. And I'm here to hang out with my buddy John. No, it's not about him. It's about me. And I'm like, no, I don't know you. And from the little I've seen of you, I don't really care for you. No, transfer all your feelings from that, John, to me. Like, that's what they try to do with that show. And it ultimately felt weird, where it's like the Loki I came to see is like a weird, sad little lapdog who just wants to make a hugging blanket for them to sit in. And then the Kang stuff at the end was awful too. It was all dumb. Like, it was just thumbs down for the Loki series, man. I felt hardcore baited and switched with that one, you know? It's like when I went to watch the second Doctor Strange movie, and I'm like, how come Doctor Strange is like a side character in his own movie? And how can you have so many crazy visuals and so much going on, and I still feel completely empty while watching this, where the first one really resonated with me? James P, this is the most excited you've been about Magic in a long time. Enjoy the excitement, bro. Pots, it's way better than a white oubliette, because oubliette's a one-time use, right? So you can keep using it over and over. Cardboard Splendor, would you end a hostile species with a switch? That's a good question. If they were some kind of space scourge that's wiping everything out, yeah, fine, whatever. Guess what? Stuff dies, so I'm not gonna be like, oh no, all this race of robots that's just runs around yelling, exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. It doesn't feel like a hard choice to me. You know? It's kind of like when I was watching Trigun, like as an adult. When I watched it when I was like a teenager, I was like, Trigun's awesome. As an adult, I'm like, Vash, you need to grow up, bro. If you would just grow up and do what needs to be done, more lives would be saved, ultimately. So that's the move. That's the move, right? That's the move. Robotic, the whole set makes you want to go rewatch the show. Well, it's a perfect excuse to, right? When they were, what was it? When they were doing the Wheel of Time show, before that came out, I was like, yeah, and I got all hyped about it. And I went back and read all the Wheel of Time books. Now, I mean, I guess it's a bad example in this case, because the Wheel of Time, I'd rather watch Loki 1,000,000 times than watch the Wheel of Time thing that they made. So, not the best example. But yeah, man, it's good. Get hyped. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. That canine robot looks ridiculous from the artwork, man. Yeah, exactly. Juggle, they're just like, okay. It's like, I'm Loki. And then they just have like a mall security guard beat the hell out of them. And you're just like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah, you know, he's powerful and smart. What if he wasn't powerful and he was weak-willed and kind of dumb, and a lady just kicked him in the junk over and over? And you're like, who'd you make this for? Like, I thought this was for fans of Loki, but I don't know why you're treating him so bad. That's right, Ned. That's right. Muster, what's going on, buddy? You're hyped for the set. Well, you're not alone. There's a ton of people who are hyped. There's a bunch of stuff that I want for my cube out of these, for sure. Sky, you think I missed some spoilers? I wouldn't be surprised. There was like 1,000,000,000 new spoiled cards, and so I grabbed a whole bunch up to a certain cutoff and said, I'm not going to stress about finding the rest, because there's going to be more to talk about. There's still a ton more cards to be spoiled, so we can always do more spoiler stream action, you know? James P says, don't forget to watch Torchwood as well. A bunch of people been mentioning Torchwood. Mustard, your wife likes them, no interest in magic, but loves Doctor Who. Fair enough, bro. Unveiled the new Loki. Yeah, it's Disney Plus stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. Did I make it to the P.O. box? Oh, I did. I did make it to the P.O. box. That reminds me. I got it over here. I got a box. I got a box to open. Ah. Torchwood's a spinoff of Doctor Who with Jack Harkness, aka Face of Bo. You're the face of Bo, though. That's you. That's you. All right, let's see what's inside this box. Oh, it's a box inside a box. It's a box inside a box. We go into a deeper layer now. Oh, the Amazon tape is easy to rip with my fingers, but here we go. Need the Botana. Need the Botana. What up, Baron? Didn't see any cards you'd play with? Well, fair enough, my man. I definitely did. But not everybody's gonna... So far, there's not stuff for everybody's decks, right? And I have the luxury of having a cube, so there's a lot of stuff that can go into that. Alright, what do we got in here? What do we got in here? Is it two things? Oh no, it's a big thing. Oh man. It's a fat honk boy. What is this? Bone Maman? It's an advent calendar. 23 limited edition mini spreads and one honey. 2023 edition. That's a lot of fun, man. I love advent calendars. That's nutty. Okay, I'm not going to look at them. I'm going to be surprised by them. That is incredibly random, dude. I never in a million years would I have guessed that you sent out a jam. You want me to jam things into my mouth. I get it. I get it. Thanks, Mustard. It's so random. That is very, very random. That's great. Captain Jack is fixed in time. He ages but can't die. Well, he's fixed in time and ages? What do you mean? Bo says he hated Sarah Jane so couldn't watch the series. She's so annoying. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Oh, all right. I guess the jams you've chosen come Bo approved. He's saying it's a good brand. It's a good brand. It was supposed to be gift wrapped and I have a card that said something sweet for producer K. Well, let me see. It definitely didn't come gift wrapped. That's for sure. Oh, but you know what? This did come through. The note did come through, buddy. So that part came through. But they were just like, whatever, it's in a box, deal with it. This counts as a gift bag to them. That's funny. Thanks, Mustard. She'll be very happy when she sees it, man. All right, let's close this blade up here. So yeah, the Doctor Who is definitely adding a bunch of nuttiness. It's definitely adding a bunch of nuttiness to Magic, you know? And I get everybody's perspective. Some people are super excited about the cards, and some people are like, oh, I hate it. It doesn't fit into Magic. It's like, fair enough. Fair enough. I will agree that it's jarring to see like random TVs and stuff like that in Magic, but I also know that that's what they're doing now, and I like Magic cards. So at the end of the day, meh, can't really can't really have it exactly the way you want, can you? Where it's like I want everything to be skinned in the world of Magic. Well, then you're not gonna have access to a bunch of cards. That's the way Wizards is doing it, unfortunately. James P, how's the straw supply holding up? Half decently. Half decently. I got a decent amount of straws, even though, you can't get them here in Canada anymore. They're not selling the plastic straws anymore. Fixing the world one plastic tube at a time, man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Bo, what do you think I do, man? I hand stuff like that off to Carly so that she can store it away so when it's time, it won't be stuck under some random pile somewhere or whatever. Don't worry, bro. Don't worry. When the stream is over, I'll put it in her hands. Does it have serialized cards? Nope, they're just commander decks. There's no random loose cards for these. And actually, I mean, technically, it's just the thin versions of plastic straws you can't get anymore. You can still get plastic straws at like Starbucks for like $1. They're just the harder, more reusable ones. So, whether we're just shifting to having straws that are even worse, I don't know. Who cares? It's all a bunch of pointlessness. That's what it feels like to me. Nah, they'll still be crazy straws. Still be able to buy those or whatever, but that's because those are considered reusable. It's like single use. That's the deal. Mustard, I mean, bro, I don't know that much about Doctor Who, but from what I've been reading, it does seem like they've been nailing a whole bunch of stuff. The Doctor Who fans seem pretty happy overall. Millmaster, I'll tell you what I don't like: limp straws in my mouth, buddy. I don't like that limpness. It's got to be firm and unyielding, right? Otherwise, what's the point? You don't want to suck on it if it's limp, bro. It's got to be a proud firm straw to get the job done. It's got to get it all the way to my mouth. So yeah, overall, it looks like they've done a good execution of the flavor and the story, all that kind of stuff. James P. Yeah, I guess a lot of people weren't happy with the writing for the new Doctor or whatever. They're saying like she sucks because she was given crap writing. I'm not surprised, given the current times we're living in. A lot of things seem to have terrible writing nowadays. So it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And my root beer needs more root beer in it. So I'm going to go add some more barks to my cup. I'll be right back, my friends. I shall return unto you. Trip and crack my head. right. I am back. Mustard, you didn't like the accent of the 13th Doctor? Fair enough. If you can't stand listening to somebody, it's going to be pretty difficult to watch anything they're in, right? Assassin's Creed deals with time. What's another IP they could use the mechanics for it? That's true. That's true. They could do it with Assassin's Creed as well. There's tons of properties out there that involve time, like manipulations and stuff like that. So that's not hard to see. Other sets were using mechanics that they're using here as well, like time travel. The writers on Doctor Who today are probably pulled from the same pool Loki and magic lore writers are. All the same difference. It's the new era of writing where, I don't know, continuity doesn't seem to matter very much, and logic seems to be absent a lot of the time. They just have we have a goal we're driving towards, and we're not going to make it make sense to get there, which always leads to less gratifying stories, right? Juggling being nice, saying, everybody in here, you guys rock. Thanks for being here. Well, that's some nice positivity to share with the people, bro. Bill and Ted, yeah. Bill and Ted could totally have a time travel secret layer, right? And yeah, Wizards does seem to be putting more effort into making sure the universes beyond and stuff like that really do fit the flavor of the properties that they represent. Seems like more effort's put into that than worrying about their own worlds. So, on one hand, it's annoying when you're a fan of regular Magic, and on the other hand, if you're somebody who likes the other properties, well, then it seems like they're doing a good job. So, it draws people in that regard. I don't know how many people will stick around, but whatever, right? Mustard, yeah, the Final Fantasy should be pretty sweet, bro. Should be pretty good. Every day you're a huge fan of Doctor Who, but you're not sure it fits in Magic? Well, fucking barn doors wide open. Too late on that one. It's already a part of it. It's already a part of it. Bo, you went around. Oh, you dressed up? You dressed up as the 10th Doctor 10 years ago. Oh, all right. That's kind of fun. 10 ago. Yeah, MG, you're not wrong, bro. The fact that everything is very black and white in modern day storytelling, where there is no no nuance, context, none of that matters. It's just straight up, boom, boom. This is what it's like, right? And they're just like, this person's perfectly good, and they're fighting against somebody who's perfectly evil. And the good person's only problem is that they don't believe enough in themselves. And you're just like, that's so boring. I'm tired of heroes that have no flaws, but they portray, well, they don't believe in themselves. So that's the one flaw that's not, it doesn't do anything. It's not interesting, right? It's like the equivalent of going to a job interview, and it's like, what's your biggest flaw? I work too hard. I'm an overworker. I'm a perfectionist. You know, it's like, Cthulhu canon doesn't mean anything. Universes beyond mean these don't exist. Like, you're not thinking, oh, look, Doctor Who and Jace can get together. They can't. They don't exist in the same place. Everything from universes beyond is literally beyond the Magic multiverse. They don't cross over. It's not like Doctor Who is gonna fucking spew out the 11th Doctor and the 13th Doctor, and they're gonna have a cup of tea with Emrakul, right? So they don't exist in Magic lore. So no, it's not canon. It's not canon for Magic. Yamagoro, moral ambiguity gets boring. Mom said it made all the characters equally despicable. So if it's just not somebody who's not a paragon of virtue, then well, everyone's got their own taste, but I prefer stories that have people who like resonate with real life. You know what I mean? They feel real. That's why Batman was infinitely more interesting to me than Spider-Man. What's Spider-Man's flaws? What? That he's like a polite teenager who does the right thing and is good to his family and his girlfriend? Oh, wow. Then you got Batman, who's so messed up by the loss of his parents that he literally dresses up in a rubber suit and beats up fucking homeless people trying to deal with his issues. Like, he's a compelling character because he's a madman. He's got understandable goals, and underneath it, he's not a bad person, but he's not some straight out good guy. That's boring, man. That's boring. That's the problem they ran into with Superman, where they made Superman like, check it out, he's super powerful, nothing can stop him, and he's a good guy who always does what's right. And people lost interest real quick because where's the story? He's always gonna win. He's always gonna do what's right. There's no story after you've seen it the first time. It's the same thing, right? MG, oh yeah, you're talking about I'm talking with Yamagoro as well, but you're talking about the current trend of like enemies, the evil people can't be evil because it's like, yo, I just love eating babies, man. I love listening to them cry as I crunch their bones. Crunch, crunch, crunch. It's got to be like, I didn't want to be a baby eater, but my dad, he used to take a tuning fork and smack it against my ball bag when I was 6 years old, going, take that, you stupid little music man. So now, whenever I hear music at the mall, I have to chew baby's bones. The world made me what I am. All this kind of crap. Yeah, I feel you on that. It's got to be like, oh no, like the villain's not actually like genuinely a bad person. They're just misguided. I don't know if Thanos like amped that up because the way they did Thanos in the Infinity War was really good, right? So they pulled off the whole like, you're a villain, you have to be stopped, but you're likable, right? So that might have contributed to more people trying to do that, but it was already fairly prevalent. James P., the first name of your shop back in the 90s was Time Lord Comics. Nice. Pot says anything with the big triangle emblem at the bottom isn't magic canon. That is correct. That is correct. Yamaguro, I never watched Lost, so yeah, if every character turned out to be an escaped criminal, I have no idea. That show seems stupid, so I never watched it. Cthulhu, that's why you like the Punisher. He's weirdly complex. Yeah, the Punisher is alright. The Punisher is alright. Bo, yeah. Peacemaker. Peacemaker is an interesting character for sure. Absolutely. You need believable characters. You need some depth to it, or else there's nothing for your brain to really grab onto and remember. There's nothing that you'll resonate with. Every day, if you get them both in play, and everyone allows you to with Rule 0, you gotta get their consent for that, buddy. You can't just do that around unsuspecting people. Cthulhu, yeah. I mean, the universe beyond stuff isn't mucking with magic lore. The only thing mucking about magic lore right now is the way they've been writing it, right? So, who knows? Maybe the story would be less disjointed if they just randomly crammed everything into it. And then Herbie the Love Bug showed up, and Ken and Ryu hopped out and said, "Come on, man, we're going for a kegger down at the Animal House." Remember that movie? Get a toga and get in. Come on. We're going. We're going. So yeah, man. I would like a return to better storytelling overall for Magic. And we'll see. I mean, at least Wilds of Eldraine was a step better than all that March of the Machine Phyrexian nonsense there at the end. I guess that's what happens when you got a company that's just focused on how much money they can get and they consider lore to be like baggage, right? I don't want to pay to make this. I don't want to deal with this. But yeah, the Doctor Who stuff is it's definitely a mixed bag depending on who you are, right? For some people, it's the best thing ever. For some people, it's the worst thing ever. I fall in the middle. I like in-universe Magic cards better, but at the end of the day, I want Magic cards. I want to play with cardboard goodness. So if this is the only way to get the abilities that I want, well, that's how I'm going to get them to put them in my cube. That's just how it goes. But I will gravitate towards like in-universe versions when they make them, you know? Like once they made the inversion Street Fighter guys, I'm like, okay, I'd rather have you in than the actual Street Fighter guys because it does feel a little bit hilariously goofy to be like, I'll summon up Blanca. He's going to treat you like a car. He's going to smash you up. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, man. James P. The Commander decks, I think they release near the end of the month, right? So Wizard is going to be on a tear, spoiling cards for these for the next number of days, I'm guessing. And then once they're done that, they're going to immediately leap into the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, like starting to pimp that out. What up, Billy? How you doing? Yeah, that's true. Wizards did used to have a story department that would actually make sure there was continuity, but now they don't bother. They don't bother. They don't care, you know? I mean, they don't have continuity from one story installment to the next, let alone one set to the next. Some of it's really jarring, like what they did with Nashi. Just all of a sudden, it's like you're a leader of a street biker gang, and now you're a 7-year-old, and it's like, huh? What? What up, hometown? You liking the look of Lost Caverns? Yeah, it's got that. It's got the same kind of vibe that the original Zendikar block did, the inner exploration. I'm curious to see what else they got going on. I like the gods and the temples, that kind of stuff. It seems like there's a fair bit of possibility for it. I don't know exactly how it's going to go in terms of standard, right? Because Wizards was still designing with their fire design, not thinking of the new standard that they're now scrabbling to put together. So that remains to be seen. Cthulhu, I haven't heard of that one, buddy. I haven't heard of that one. Guy with a T Rex for an arm. Oh, what is we already got that, right? What's his name? Why can't I think of the name of the card right now? Mimeoplasm. Right? He's talking about mimeoplasm. That was mimeoplasm. Like one of them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I like big fat dinosaurs. I do like gigantic stompy creatures. So that part is sweet for me. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. But yeah, in terms of like what's gonna happen with standard, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna take them like at least a year or so to get their design in line with what they want it to be, to actually maybe have standard have a chance of being balanced. So we'll see. We'll see just how dedicated they are to this. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with standard. Whether Wizards is going to be able to pull it out of the destructive crash they smashed it into, man. Because they pretty much obliterated it, right? Used to be you'd find people playing standard at all the stores you went to. Now it's everybody's playing Commander, and I got people asking me, "Yo, what's a easy way to get started in Commander, bro?" Because that's what everyone's playing here now. Mustard, are you talking about Sarkin? Cardboard Splendor, how are the Magic comics good stories? Hit or miss, right? Hit or miss. I haven't read like some of the newer ones with Dak and stuff, so I've only really seen like the older ones. I have some of the newer ones, but I haven't sat down and like really poured through the comics, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how good the Dak Faden ones were. I it's the thing as well when I'm looking at the comics is I like things that fill in like missing lore gaps and stuff. So I'm like, I'm kind of biased towards liking them more than most people, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. The comics like are gonna be better than any current Magic lore at the very least. You want to get the two Chandelar comics? I have one of them. I know for sure. I don't know if I have both of them. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should have like an official list of all the comics and like Scries and Inquest magazines, all that I have, because I would like to flesh out those collections as well. There's a lot of interesting magical tidbits and part of the game's history in them. You know, is Doctor Who coming to Arena? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I I can't keep on top of everything that Wizards is doing anymore. Despite despite all my attempts, I can't keep track of like which things they are crossing over and which they're not. Since it's not a full-on set release, my gut says they're not because they're not putting Commander decks onto Arena. Arena doesn't have Commander, but who knows? Maybe they're gonna do some weird little like crossover tie-in where they make a handful of cards available because it's impossible to predict what they're gonna do, man. Hometown says it's not, and I'll take his word for it, man. I'll take his word for it. Sounds good to me. It's not. The answer is it's not coming to Arena. Sounds right. Well, Grathulu, I think they don't want to pay for talented writers, right? Like the experienced talented fantasy writers cost. So they just want to pay whatever like scale rates they can to get somebody who can do a good enough job. Good enough. Here you go. Here's the story we want. Like it's weird because they write a story internally for the set. They have the whole concept for the set and that's what they pick the art and everything for. And then they've had a bunch of written stories where they have the written story completely diverge from the cards in a very confusing way, like they did with Wilds of Eldraine, where you just go, why is the written story and the story on the cards so different, you know? Like, why was Ashiok removed into a nothing character in the written story when they play a huge role in the main story, right? And, like, why did you change it so that Agatha was defeated by Kellen before he had use of his light blades? Like, why are you depicting him in the little marionette picture where he's got his blades out standing over Agatha, but in the written story he pushes into a cauldron? Like, what is the purpose of this? I don't understand. I don't understand. Bo Falcon, have fun. Go get your beauty sleep, big boy. James P, you know what? AI might be able to keep better track of the continuity of Magic, at least. If they had some AI bot that could tell the writers, you're contradicting yourself here, and you're contradicting prior lore here. This can't happen because of this reason, or this person is this, so this doesn't make sense. You know? So who knows? Maybe just having AI writing Magic lore based on what they said would get more coherent results. How tragic is that? What a tragic admission, right? That the state of Magic has reached, like storytelling has reached the point where letting a robot do it might be better. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's true. They can't double their profits every 5 years. They did the doubling it in 5 years, and then they went 50% in 3 years, which is the same difference, right? So they're basically like, we're doing the same plan again. And yeah, they don't want to spend money on lore. You're absolutely right about that, because it's not something that they can point to and directly go, the lore made us X dollars, right? They just look at it and go, it just costs us money. We don't want to spend the money on that. So that does add up with what's going on currently with them. Loco, see, yeah, they wouldn't even want to pay the minimum wage to just have some entry level person do that, because that costs money. So just when they submit it, run it through a spell checker. Kate didn't give back any spell checking errors. Kate, run it, and then nobody notices characters' names are wrong. Like, just basic, the most basic level stuff where it's like you call Akiri Akira. You know that, right? Like your own character, Akiri, you call them Akira. And at a certain point in the story, it's supposed to be lovingly, and you have lovely. Like, nobody has read this aside from the person who wrote it, right? Because people, when they're writing their own stuff, they can't see the errors that are in it. You know what I mean? Cardboard Splinter says, oh, donations exist. What? Wait, what? Oh, yeah, the board. Well, I mean, they always do. For a second, I was like, what are you talking about? I remember I won a writing competition in school for a book series we were reading. Just hold a lore competition. Oh, wait, you won a writing competition for a book series? So what did you have to do? Write your own, like, your own character or something set in that world? I remember writing a story in school about, like, this kid who stowed away on his fucking dad's ship or whatever, and then pirates hopped onto the ship, and then there was a big old pirate battle going on, and Buddy's dad ends up getting killed, and he just goes berserk and just goes crazy on the pirates. That was fun. He was just in a blind rage. He like jabbed somebody with the sword and snapped the blade off inside him. Boom, moved on to the next guy. It was all right. I'm not like a good writer or anything, but it was an all right little story. Mad Cow, yep. The Skirmisher or whatever the hell it's called, something like that. It's like 4 mana for a 1/1 that you can tap to do 1 damage to any target. When it comes into play, you can search through your deck for another copy and put it into your hand. And yeah, the original artwork, his grass skirt, had an outcropping that looked like a dick. So they cut it off. Snip, right? But they screwed up and didn't cut it off in the foil version. If you go and look at Academy Rector, you can see, look at the hand of Academy Rector, and you can see there's a dong, like right here. Like there's a fat dong painted into the hand. Cthulhu, I don't specifically recall exactly what it was, but I think it was actually something along the lines of that might have been talking about the carvings, or it was talking about something being created with care, so it was like lovingly done. But I could be wrong about the instance, but I'm not wrong that they used lovely when they meant lovingly. It's very obvious from context that that's the word that was supposed to be in there. And I mean, I could give them that. I can give you a pass on that. That's fine. If you're kind of grammatically off, you use a slightly wrong word or whatever, that's not the biggest deal. But when you add that into the fact that they had multiple characters' names wrong as well, that's like, what? What? Stories with the heroes from Animorphs. I have no idea what that is. It just makes me think of Animaniacs, but they keep shifting shapes. I don't know that one, Splendor. Yeah, I agree. When it comes to the lore, basically, like, Wizards needs to be working on it because it gives you something to play off of. If you want to sell, like, movies, for example, all that kind of stuff, having this big world you can play around with, right? Like, the D&D movie was successful, right? Magic the Gathering has just as much to offer up in terms of, well, maybe not quite as much because D&D is, like, super rich and deep with its lore. That's what it's all about. But Magic, it does come close, and it has more than enough to offer. A ton of developed worlds, a ton of different heroes and villains and characters to tap into, right? So they just want to be like, what if we just stop making lore, but it has no negative consequences for us? And there was a while where they just stopped. After the reaction to the War of the Spark novel, they said, fine, we'll just throw away the Theros novel, we're not even going to sell it, and we'll stop giving you lore. And then people are like, where's the lore? And they're like, no. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. We want lore. Just because you did a terrible job of writing it. Like, if you make a terrible meal and we go, this is awful, that means make better meals. It doesn't mean, we're not cooking no more. Like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense, right? Potts, yeah, for real. When you look at Academy Rector, she's got the junk right there in her hand. I know you thought it was joking, right? And you went and looked, you're like, it is. It is, bro. It's got a ball bag and everything. That's why Star Wars lost popularity, is they messed up the lore and decanned all the extended stuff and made their own that made no sense. Yeah, didn't they basically, I didn't pay that much attention to Star Wars, but didn't they basically go, okay, here's Rey. She is already perfect. So remember how Luke had to go on this big journey to like become who he was? She's already who she needs to be. She's going to be super capable from the get-go, basically. And then on top of that, that's not going to be good enough. We're going to take characters that you like Han Solo, he's dead. We're going to take Luke Skywalker and turn him into just a nightmarish garbage version of himself that nobody would really accept as the character. Like, the choices that they made were very, very bizarre. Like ones where they're making a movie about Lando Calrissian, and the marketing around it I see is them trying to push the fact that, like, he'll hook up with robots and stuff because he's panned. And I'm just like, you're really running a market and stuff, haven't you? Who cares? Who cares that this guy would hook up with a robot or whatever? What is this? Was that the movie that had the robot's right robot that was just this intolerable character that you were supposed to like but couldn't. Like, I don't know that much about Star Wars after the first six movies because I watched the whichever one it is that has it starts out with what's his name? It's like John Boyega or whatever. He plays the character and he plays a clone. But like he's a clone who wakes up to the reality that he doesn't want to be a part of the war and everything else. And they actually have a really cool way of marking him out from all the other ones because everybody's a clone, right? So he gets a bloody handprint on his helmet, which is a cool way to make him distinct from the rest of the masses, and also just to show the horrors. It's just there's a multiple levels to it that I liked. I was like, that's cool. And then they had this Kylo Ren dude who can literally like stop laser blasts and stuff. Like there was some cool elements, but overall, the movie was mostly like, eh. Like by the time I was done watching it, I went, I'm just middle of the road. I don't feel anything watching this. I don't care. And then I didn't watch any other of the Star Warses because I just went. I never knew I'd watch a Star Wars and feel nothing, but that's how it felt, right? That's how it felt. So, yeah, Star Wars has like fallen apart, man. And then they also just did crazy stuff where they're just like, check it out. Did you know you can slam spaceships into other spaceships and cause meganova blasts or something? And you're just like, but if that was a thing, how come it was never used at any other point? Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't go, check it out. If you smash the ship into this thing, then kablowy blowy. And it's like, okay, so that's the new strategy then, right? That's just what we do. We just spam ships at stuff we want to blow up from now on, right? It's all I know about the newer Star Wars I've just seen from things kind of picking it apart or whatever. Yeah, and see, actually, I liked Finn, and like the idea, I thought that was wasted on that movie. The idea of a clone like just like basically being fucking shell shocked out of the war or whatever, and just being like, no, I don't want any part of this, man. Like, and whatever, and like also having to accept that you're a clone. Like, there's so much to that, right? Like, that's crazy. Just bred to be expendable. That's nutty, man. And like he brought some fun to the movie in terms. Hey, you got a boyfriend, a cute boy. You got a good boyfriend or whatever, something like that. Something like that. You know, because he's like into her. But yeah, the movie by the end of it, I was like, eh. Not clones anymore, recruiting like army. Why did they stop using robots? Why did they stop using robots? Roger Dodger. Like, they used them before the clones or whatever, didn't they? Or something? Like, they used I don't get it. I don't get it. He was the first character in the first trailer and something happened behind the scenes. If I had to guess off the top of my head, it might totally just be the whole fucking Chinese overseas market thing, right? Where when it comes to movies, they make them thinking, how are we going to sell this in China where there's fucking billions of people to sell to, right? And I heard that when it comes to China, they edit the black people out of the movie posters and shit. And I wouldn't be surprised at all because, I mean, Wizards of the Coast has literally done the same thing themselves in the past. They did it with, like, what is it? Is it the horned turtle? Something like that. Where the English version and the Chinese version is, oh, they replaced them with a white guy. Like, that's literally what they did. So, basically, these companies that are like, yo, we're all about diversity and all that stuff. unless it means we're gonna make $1 less. Okay, in that case, we'll actually edit them straight out of the poster. So it's like, no, we don't even have any of them in our movie. No, we're like you. We don't like them either. Anyways, do we have your money now? Oh yeah, actually, by the way, he totally is. He totally is in this movie. Like, that shit's wild. It's wild living in the whole insane corporate nonsense world where in North America they're like, hey, we believe in all this stuff, and then they turn around and go, make sure we can edit that all out of the movie so that we can sell that shit to China. Thank you very much, right? If you got two guys kissing, put them over here in the background or somewhere else, some scene that doesn't actually mean anything to the story, so we can snip that part out. Right? It's silly. It's absolutely silly the way that these companies operate, but they only care about money. So whatever, right? Whatever. What are you going to do? The companies are dead-eyed corporate whores that only want money. They don't give a shit about people. So they're just like, yo, I totally believe in your rights. Except in this place over here where they'll throw you off the roof. I'm actually with the government over here. I agree with these guys because I want to sell money in their country and they won't let me unless I agree with them. So here we cheer you. Over there we jeer you because we only care about the money. It's a very cynical sort of thing. So the people who cheer as if something's actually happened, it's like, I got news for you. It's all for show. It's all for show. So yeah, it's Brent, you know what? Jungle Cruise is one of the most boring movie that I've ever seen. It's one of the most boring movies I've ever seen. They were trying to make romance happen between, who was it? Emily Blunt? I think that's who it was. And The Rock. And man, oh man. Like, The Rock is normally likable. I don't know what they told him. Like, act like you're unlikable or something. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mad Cow, you think the business model of pissing the fans off covers them, so if it's bad, you're forced to like it or be evil? Oh, you mean kind of like the old, the Ghostbusters 2016 scenario, where the whole spin was, look, man, if you say anything negative about the movie, it's actually because you hate ladies and not because the movie's bad, okay? And then, like, you gotta give the people in charge some credit for the underhand way they do shit, where they go and delete all the negative feedback that is normal and left by normal people, just going, I didn't really care for the movie. But feedback that was over the top insanity was left, and I wouldn't be surprised if extra was added by some of these people working for the company going, we can type whatever we want. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that whole, look, if you don't like this, it's because you're a bad person. That kind of marketing, it loses its effectiveness real fast. So that kind of stuff where they're just like, if you don't like this movie, it's because you're a hate monger. It's like, actually, the movie sucks. The number one rule for making movies is it needs to be entertaining. I don't care about anything else. I don't care if you're just like, it's groundbreaking for this. I don't care. I want to be entertained. Like, I don't care if you've made a groundbreaking meal. I want something that tastes good and leaves me feeling fed. I don't give a crap about anything else. And it's obvious when you go back to earlier era movies that they're more interested in actually entertaining you. And newer era stuff is like, I got to tell you how the world needs to be. No, you just need to entertain me. That's all you need to do. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say because your writing is shit too. Why would I listen to a ham-fisted writer try and tell me how I should live? It's ridiculous. It's like you give messages across that don't even make sense. When you don't have your characters actually meet the real repercussions of their actions, no lesson can be learned, right? Mad Cow, yep, it's free publicity. They do outrage marketing now. What do you think the Aragorn situation in Lord of the Rings is? It's just outrage marketing. It's literally there to get people riled up so that people like you get different categories. You can get people who feel like they're good people because they're a part of a thing that has that in it, and then you got people who are like, this is the worst thing you've ever done, and then they just point at them and go, look at these haters, look at this awful, these guys are the worst, aren't they? You should buy this product, teach them a lesson. And then those other people go, you're right, I will teach them a lesson, it's us against them, right? It's working. It's working. They set up a good character with the brother. Yeah, Brent, I don't remember anything really. I just remember being disappointed about that movie. Just like I was like, this sucks. Didn't even finish it. Wasn't there a scandal because Rotten Tomato critics were actually being paid by media companies to give them favorable reviews? I wouldn't be surprised, but I have no idea. No idea. But I assumed a ton of critics were like paid, you know? When you see a movie and audience score is what matters. The critics like to pretend like their opinions are what matters, but they don't. Your opinions, you're not fucking special because you're a movie critic. You're just like every other dickhead who can leave a fucking review blurb, except you think that yours has way more value. And it's like, well, I'm an official movie critic. Yeah, I just want to know what the general population thinks of the movie because that's a way better indicator than what some fuckstick thinks, where it's like, oh, I loved this arty frou frou film, blibbity blabbity bloob. And it's just like, okay. Oh, this movie is it's like, bro, I want to be entertained. I just want to be entertained. I don't care, man. I don't care about all these fucking movie reviewers because they're fucking full of themselves, dude. They're full of themselves. And yeah, I assume a bunch of them are getting paid to be like, this was an amazing romp. And you're like, really? Because like the critics are like 90% critic score, 32% audience score. And it's just like, yeah, I'm sure it's a great movie, right? Like, I don't want to just watch movies that have like that everybody likes or whatever, but I'm just saying the critics and audience disconnect is very noticeable. You'll see critics crapping all over something and it's just like, oh, it's got like a 27% critical score, but like an 89% audience score. And it's like, what is going on? Also, for movies, like, I just presume all new movies are garbage automatically. I'm assuming it's complete garbage unless told otherwise. I don't give movies the benefit of the doubt anymore. I really don't, unless they're like under very, very specific circumstances. I just don't. Because they're going to suck, man. They're going to suck. They're just empty crap a lot of the time. You know? Meh. On the upside, at least this is all happening in a time where we have access to everything. So all the movies from before still exist and can be watched and enjoyed. So you can use that to offset some of the current era crap. And then just sit back and let other people figure out whether something's good enough. I use audience scores for that kind of stuff. I wait until multiple people have told me something is good and worth watching before I go and check it out. Because it's just too many things that I watch now. We're half an hour in. I go, how long have I been watching this? Have I gotten anything out of this? Like, hell, the new Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm like, they spent too long on Earth, bro. It was boring. Then when they got to the Mario world, I was like, okay, this looks like I remember from the games. And they definitely had a few nostalgia moments. But overall, that movie didn't do much for me. And that's like a decent movie by today's standards. The answer, yep. If it's got a low critical score and an audience high score, basically I just ignore the critical score because I don't care. I don't care what a handful of pretentious people think I care more about what the average viewer thinks, because I'm not watching this to like come up with a review that I've got to tell other people about. I'm looking at this movie to have an experience for myself, right? Oh, I beat Modern Chandelar today, by the way, guys. I beat it. The end boss's deck is the cheesiest bullshit on earth. He starts with a Black Lotus in play, and he has no problem powering out like a Steel Hellkite on the first turn of the game. He did it yesterday when I went and fought him. He put out a Steel Hellkite, and then he put out a Sphere of Resistance and a Thorn Amethyst, or whatever the hell it's called. Both things that crank up the cost of spells. And then he stripped mine and wastelanded my lands and killed me in like 4 turns. I couldn't believe it. I got wiped out so fast. So today I got another chance at him. But I got an amazing starting hand. I had a Black Lotus, a Mox, and a Mishra's Factory. Played them all, sacked the Lotus for 3 blue, briberied his ass, and got a Steel Hellkite. And I'm like, how do you like it when I'm the one with the first turn Steel Hellkite? So do you know what he did? He played a first turn Steel Hellkite. And I was like, oh, come on, man! So my best move was equally met by him with no problems at all. No problems at all. And it took a long time. It took me like half an hour. But I actually managed to outmaneuver him and beat him and win. Oh, I won! He started at 400 life and I beat him down. I recorded it, so I might actually play it in the background when we're doing a stream to show you guys. Because I'm stoked. I'm stoked about how it went, man. Wasn't easy, but I did it. Yeah. Took a lot of fighting. But I didn't give up. And his deck is insane. Absolutely insane. Juggle him, yep, that's true, buddy. That's true. It's like if I want to go and see a movie, it's like $15 for the movie ticket, right? So then there's me and Carly. So that's 30 bones for the movie tickets. And then on top of that, the concessions can easily, because they gouge you so hard, can easily be another $25 or $30. So a night out at the movies is like $60 fucking dollars, bro. Like, I love the movie theater. I love the experience of it. I love it even more now that they have the fucking, like the heated chairs that you can recline in, and the little booth with the walls so that like you don't see people on their phones and stuff. I really like all of that. But the movie itself, you know, like it's hard to justify paying those fucking costs, man. But if I had like, let's say they had some contest or something, and they're like, you win free movies for a year, I'd go a whole bunch. Because I used to love going to the movies. But at the cost it is, you know, it's got to be an epic movie that's out. And even then, that's a lot. That's a lot for a night out, you know? Wish Arena had single fun player events in a story mode. Well, they might be working on that, actually. I think that's something they were talking about bringing into the game and trying to bring in Commander, but whether Wizards can execute with their programming skills and all that is another question, right? It's another question entirely. Every day, is that where you watch your Doctor Who, buddy? Have a good one, Cardboard Splendor. Kentucky Bayou, they sell half-price movie ticket vouchers on Black Friday. Oh, right on. Half price is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Maggie, what's up? What's the general consensus on the new Who cards? Seems like people are liking them. If you want to see this stream afterwards, like if you want to actually see all the cards, I will be uploading this live stream over to the live stream archive channel after we're done here. So if you go over to the Hatcher Streams channel, then you can check that out there at your leisure. Oh, I guess I should share the link trying to remember anytime that I mention it to share the link for that channel. All right. I guess I should say. There we go. That's the right link, right? Yep. Okay, cool. Where did the chat? Oh, there it is. I was like, where? I'm clicking around. The chat disappeared on me. There we go. Jaga Flames membership message. Hello, Hatcher. I'm not a big fan of Doctor Who, but the cards do look interesting. Well, fair enough, buddy. The flavor behind some of these cards has made me more interested in Doctor Who, but even when it comes to like Universe Beyond properties that are for things I don't care about, I still want particular cards for their abilities. So I get you on that. Mad Cow, your grandparents probably paid like a quarter to go to the movies. I remember a long time ago, they had this one theater where it was like $2 to go and see a movie. That was awesome. $2 to see a film. $2. Man. Oh, that was so long ago. Did they do a sonic screwdriver artifact? They have one of those. They have an electric wrench or something as well. I think I saw. Mad Cow says free clout for being on the first 1,000 subs. Super stoked on that right now. Getting in on the stream channel on the ground level. $2. $2 to go to the movies. That's crazy. All right. Well, this has been a good time. Thanks for coming and hanging out, my friends. Like I said, this stream, if you missed any part of it, it'll be uploaded to the stream archive. That's right there in the chat right now if you want that link. So, I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming by. Peace out for now.